I think the big thing through 2 games, obviously, you mentioned it, there's no other team in the Olympic field that has 12 NBA players on it, let alone 12 players at the level of what Team USA can bring to bear. Canada gets close, but there is no team that can go to the bench and check in 5 all-stars, right? Or near all-stars, right? So the point, it's becoming a sort of script in these games. The starting lineup, whoever forms the starting lineup, struggles a little bit with the other team's starters, or maybe it's a tie game, or maybe they're down a little bit. And then Kerr goes to the bench, and in comes, in yesterday's case, Kevin Durant, Bam Adebayo, Anthony Edwards, and Drew Holiday came in to play with Steph. Then about a minute later, Stephen Curry goes out and Derek White comes in, and South Sudan just kind of stopped scoring for a while. I think they had 4 points over the next 4 or 5 minutes. And then, before you know it, what was a tense 10-10 game is now a double-digit USA lead, and the game's basically over midway through the second quarter. So I think that, to me, the thrust of that second unit, which was great in the exhibition games, and we talked about that, the line changes, and now with Kevin Durant back in the fold, and maybe no better indication of who starts and who doesn't really matter than Kevin Durant, admittedly coming off the injury, but the most decorated scorer in American Olympic history. He's coming off the bench and seems fine with it, and affords Steve Kerr the opportunity to just say, we're going to throw out Bam as the backstop, Drew at the point of attack, Derek White at the point of attack, Anthony Edwards and Kevin Durant on the wings. It's a miserable defensive experience for everybody to have to deal with, and they can just play random offense on the other side of it. Like, you get a stop, you push, and that's how America's going to outclass everybody, is you get a stop, you push offense, they cannot stop you the other way. So it's not, as long as the script seems to be, as long as Team USA doesn't turn the ball over a ton and they're able to shut down the 3-point line, which they were not able to do against South Sudan in the exhibition game. They did a much better job of it yesterday, in part perhaps because Joel Embiid was not playing. They were playing smaller with more wings, and they were switching everything. So that's another club in the bag. Pretty effective one. It's kind of night-night if they're able to do both those things. Whether they're able to do both those things against higher level opponents, Germany, France, Serbia again, etc., remains to be seen. But I think you have to look at it and say, the questions about Steph, questions about Embiid, questions about Tatum, whatever, the structure of this thing is a real monster when it gets rolling.
Yeah, I think one quick note on the KD off the bench. We talked about it with Vinny Goodwill on his show on Tuesday, Good Word with Goodwill, about when I talked with KD just about all of his defensive versatility stuff in Atlanta in February. But I think just one real key takeaway I had from that conversation with him, aside from how freaking tall he is that the guy really just loves to look under every stone of the game of basketball. And I am not in France. I am in my typical at-home background for our YouTube viewers. But I'd have to imagine, just from my conversations with him over the years, and particularly that one that showed insight to his thinking right now, he's probably rubbing his hands at this quote unquote challenge, just like how Michael Jordan can pick a random guy to be like, that guy's coming for me, I need to end him.
Right.
Similarly, I think KD likes to look at certain things in the game that are something that he hasn't done before and be like, I'm gonna go master that. And being the potentially most lethal 6th man in Olympic men's basketball history, when there's a guy named Carmelo Anthony who he's really got to chase. If LeBron's chasing MJ's ghosts throughout his career, KD's been that guy. KD's been the superstar who's checked out and then seen Carmelo come in and just drop absolute fire from all around the arc. So him basically mimicking that exact role on this team has been fun to watch. And if I'm playing armchair psychologist, I would think that there's that added element to him of man, I'm gonna do something that's really hard to do conceptually, for a lot of guys. To the fact, we'll talk about it in a little bit, that Team USA was drilling that exact sequence for all these all-stars during minicamp, being on the bench for a while in real time and coming off and still feeling in rhythm. So shout out to KD. One funny thing about KD that I noticed in this game, because also shouts to Tyrese Haliburton for coming off the bench and really playing well after being one of the other DNP-CDs against Serbia.
Yeah, immediately drilled 2 threes. Yeah.
His first 2. And then he's hot, he's feeling it. And there was someone with the Team USA outfit in Manila who I remember having a drink with at one point during all the Philippine stuff. And they were saying to me, I think Tyrese is the best catch and shoot 3-point shooter on that iteration of the team. So it's interesting to see him more in that type of role in this team. But so he's hit 2. He's feeling hot. He's on the right wing. There's one sequence, probably like 2.5 minutes left, I remember, in the second quarter. And he's wide open, and KD's got the ball up top. I'm like, oh, why isn't Kevin passing to Tyrese? And then the camera panned a little bit, and you saw this screen action of Steph flaring out to the corner. And it reminded me, like, watching the Olympics, the potentially greatest, highest talent, American outfit ever, still have some tendencies of dudes playing pickup and being like, oh, there's that other guy I want to get the ball to.
Yeah.
Was such a funny delight of just me like laughing to myself on the couch thinking like, oh, Tyrese Haliburton is the 5th guy in my Tuesday run and people don't necessarily like to give the ball to sometimes because they know it's going up type of thing. It was just a funny little moment I wanted to call to attention here.